Episode 16. Welcome, everybody, to episode 16 of the Daily Blip. I'm your host, Brian Collins. Got a few guests with us telecasting in over Zoom. Matt Dugan from Pivot Studios. How you doing today, bud?
Doing good. Happy Friday, Brian.
Happy Friday to you too, my friend. You got any big plans for this weekend?
No, nothing this weekend. Kind of just taking it easy this weekend. I was out in Breckenridge, Colorado last weekend snowboarding for a few days. So this is kind of a body rest weekend for me.
Nice. Hey, do you have like a GoPro or anything? Do you ever like video any of your snow shenanigans?
I used to have a GoPro. I haven't upgraded the new one yet, so I haven't used it this season. I did get this new drone here. I got it right here, actually, called the Hover AI, and it just kind of fits in your pocket and then just kind of open like that.
Oh, that's sick. That's
so
cool.
I've been trying to mess around with this. I'm a little scared to bring it on the mountain because of the snow and stuff. But next season, because this season I was like, okay, get my feel back, get good, and then
get your
next
legs
season
under
probably.
you.
Yeah,
So-
the next season probably do a little more videoing, hopefully.
What does something like that run? That Hover AI thing?
So I think the Hover AI, I think it's around $250. So
That's
a
not
little bit
bad.
expensive, but nothing crazy for a drone that shoots 1080p, you know?
So it does 280p. How high does it go?
Not super high. What's cool about it is it's an AI drone. So it comes up, and so it's just you, and it'll follow you. So it follows
that's cool.
hand gestures and things like that, and it'll be like you click a button, be like, "Hey, follow me." So like some of our clients, they'll do like walk and talks kind of content.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the value prop with this drone is it's like an AI drone.
I want to check that out because that's one of the things I wanted to get for us for some of the footage in the office in and around and some of the stuff for the website is to be able to do that. But I don't have anybody that wants to follow me around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. What were you saying,
Nobody likes
Manoj?
me.
I'm just asking how he knows to follow you.
So I think there's
Probably does
one
facial
camera-
recognition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one camera right there, and then there's a camera on the bottom, so it knows how far it is, and then it kind of just locks onto you. I assume. I'm not really
That
sure
is
how
cool.
exactly it works.
Hover.ai.
Still kind of mind-boggling to me, but it's
I'm
pretty
gonna
cool.
check that out. Maybe I'll ask for that for Father's Day or something instead of a
Love it.
guitar. That's cool. Okay, hey, and if you haven't guessed already, guys, we've got Manoj here, telecasting in live from India. So it's nighttime there, but it's the right time here. So Manoj, how you doing, buddy? You got any plans for the weekend, or are you just gonna be gaming all weekend?
I have a plan. I have to go to the badminton coaching.
Oh,
There's some children's. Yep.
nice! You've been coaching some kiddos and playing badminton.
Yeah.
Yeah, that boy. That's getting that experience. You can do that, get good at that, and you could turn that into a business, man. That's cool.
Yep.
Everything can be
So
a
that's
business
my
if you get
plan.
good at it. Cool. Is it like a camp?
No, it's not like a camp. Basically, there are some children who wants to play with me,
Yeah.
and their parents are also forcing me. like, well, last one, play with our children. They are telling us, and they are curiosity.
Cool.
So that's why.
That should be fun. I can't wait to hear how it goes. I'll talk to you about it on Monday, see if it was fun. Hopefully you don't get hurt from all those kids firing, birdies at you. That's what they're called, right? The badminton things are called birdies? Is that what they're called? Or am I just an idiot?
Oh,
What
sorry.
do you call the badminton thing you hit?
Shuttlecock.
Shuttlecock. Okay, I thought it was a birdie. I was wrong. Anyway, Manny, how's it going, bud? We're recording. You wanna come have a seat with us? Be a part of the conversation? Whatever comes to mind. No, we're talking about a couple things. No? Okay, fine. All right, moving on. Hey, guys, welcome. Thanks, Matt and Manoj, for being a part of the show. Let's get right into it. Hey, today is a special day for many people all around the world, and myself, my family in particular, too. It's World Down Syndrome Day. So March 21st every year is a day, I don't even know how long it's been going on, but it's a day that folks all around the world celebrate to kind of pay respect and homage and really just celebrate people who have Down syndrome and educate people on it and what it's like. I mean, for me personally, I didn't know anything about really Down syndrome except what you might have seen on TVs or shows when I was growing up and stuff. And honestly, it always had a negative connotation. You really didn't know. As I got older, you learn to be more kind kind and everything like that. But when you're a kid, you're usually jerks to people who are different than you. But God blessed us with a little baby girl almost 4 years ago, named Mila, and she's our youngest, and she has Down syndrome. And it's the crazy thing about it is that it's changed our life, but not from a standpoint of that we've got someone might say a different type of kid. She's just our kid, right? She's got her personality and the way she acts and the things she does. And she had some health stuff going on when she was really young. And there's a couple little things that we always have to pay attention to as she's, getting older, but she's super strong. She's all over the place, and we love her to death. And, it's one of those things. Not to get too controversial, but my wife, she posted a really neat little thing with some music and pictures on Facebook about Mila and our family for today. And I thought it was really neat because when we first found out that we were having a baby back in it would have been 2020. So she's our COVID baby, but she was born in 2021. You go through all the things, you find out you're going to have a baby, and then you kind of start to prepare. You make sure you're eating and drinking good and whatever, and you start going to appointments and getting ultrasounds and testing and stuff like that. And there's always a point in time where you do a relatively unintrusive test to see how the baby's developing. And that's when we found out that there was a 98% chance that our baby had trisomy 21, which is what's called Down syndrome, or T21. And flood of emotions, right? Like I'm not a super emotional guy. So when I first heard, there's this small faint voice in the back of your head that says, "Oh no," but that doesn't really kind of penetrate anywhere else in me. And it really was just, okay, doesn't matter. What's next, right? That was kind of my view on it. But for my wife, is a little bit different because she's through all of our, she's been through some tough times, and with all of our kids, you're always worried about how they're going to be. And she's learned a lot. And you hear a lot of negative things. You hear a lot of this and a lot of that. And it was interesting in our very next appointment with our doctor, and I'm not going to say who that doctor is because I don't have anything personally against that doctor, but a doctor gave us that news and said, almost without even skipping a beat or taking another breath, was, and I don't remember the exact words, so I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but so your baby has T21. That can mean a lot of things, but one of the next steps we can do for you is set an appointment for you to come back to terminate the pregnancy. That was literally the next point in the conversation. It was not about, do you have questions? It's not about, it's not going to be like a normal pregnancy. It's not going to be any of this kind of stuff. It's like, here's some sources you should research. Here's some blah, blah, blah. It was literally just that. And that was like someone sticking a knife in your heart. You know what I mean? It's like, seriously, that's really where it goes next with people. And a lot of people, we were fortunate and blessed to, have a lot of friends and family and be doing okay as far as, career and business and income and stuff. And, but it was weird. It was really weird. And, it never crossed our mind that we were going to do that. It just never crossed our mind. And I didn't realize all the possible complications that could happen. Jen did, because she's read books, and all kinds of stuff. And, she knew that things could go really bad because there's a lot of health-related things developmentally in the womb and when they come out. And with us, the biggest scare when Mila was born was she struggled with oxygen, blood oxygen levels. So it was, and when she came out, she looked really good, but all of a sudden, within an hour or so, she was getting very yellow. So there was jaundice that was setting in, and they couldn't keep her oxygen levels, even with like a cannula and oxygen, in the 90s. So it was a real struggle. So within, I think, the first 12 to 24 hours, they said, well, we can keep her here and do so much, but if we really want to take care of her, we need to get her on a helicopter to another hospital that could do more for her. So that's what we did, because our local hospital only had so much facilities and things they could do. So we got her into an ICU, and it was really, really scary because it's like what you see on TV. They wheel in this big contraption that has a dome on it, and like things that your arms can stick into to, touch your child because whatever. It was weird, and it was super, super, for me, I wasn't emotional. I was just kind of beside myself. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it was surreal is what it was. It's like, is this really happening? What's going on here? And that's typically my response. My response to traumatic situations isn't always, oh my God, freak out, do something. It's, whoa, what's going on? Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But it really struck a chord with my wife. That was tough. And then shortly thereafter, after a couple days, everything turned out okay. We got her leveled off and stuff, and that was great. She did really good. And then one of the things, they do an echocardiogram, they find out, and this is pretty common in babies with Down syndrome, is the heart developing. And, because genetically things develop at a different rate because of the difference in genetics. And very often the heart isn't fully ready when the baby's born. So, and that was her case. She was doing fine. It was pumping. It was all that good stuff, but there was a small hole in it. So, we went to a specialist pretty much right away, and we had to go see that specialist a number of times in the first number of months to kind of how's she doing, how's she coming along, and every time her heart just kept getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And that last time we went, no hole anymore, and they're like, guys, you never have to come back here again. That was a really cool feeling. So, but I'll tell you what, it's really cool. It's really, I can't share enough encouragement and with folks that, if anybody ever was to come to me and what should I do, I prepare, read up, but that's your baby. Treat it like you would any other baby, Oh, it looks like Manish is trying to get in, Manoj. He must be done with the Sock Health meeting. Cool, let him in. But anyway, totally awesome. She is a spitfire. She's super sassy, like any toddler is at 3-4 years old. Our biggest struggle is making sure she doesn't rule the roost, like any toddler at that age. So she's really getting into understanding how to manipulate us emotionally when she wants something and things like that. And, so she's a smarty pants. One of the things I wanted to cover is, hey, we're a business show. So, a lot of people think people with Down syndrome are maybe, developmentally delayed. They can't do what we can do, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Not true. I've run across a couple people. Matt, you shared one with me, and I want to say the more I think about it, my wife did too a while back. And then I came across one via Facebook Reels, doom scrolling a lot, where I wanted to just highlight a couple folks. I don't know these folks from anybody. We've never connected. People probably I'd love to meet, but at the same time, I just think they're really cool, and I think they're doing some cool stuff, so I wanted to highlight them. So just real quick, worlddownsyndromeday.org is the site you can go to if you want to learn more about this special day and all the things the organization behind this day is doing to help folks and families with, Down syndrome education and, all the things to just kind of make people understand that these are folks just like us, just like everybody. We're all just a bit different. All right. So I wanted to highlight a guy named Drew. I think his full name is Andrew. I don't know his last name. That's okay. But if you want to check him out, go over to YouTube and check out down.rightdelicious, and that's his channel. Pretty funny guy. I won't play any of his videos or anything right now. We don't have that much time, but he does cooking recipes that are like very, sporty, things you're doing on game day, tailgating, or things you're going to have for dinner and stuff. Sometimes he does some bakery and some sweet stuff, but he's super funny. He's got kind of a method of his videos where, the way he does things, and he says certain things which my family thinks it's really cool, really fun. We quote him all the time in the house. My wife got me his cookbook for Christmas, which was awesome. So I cook his recipes every once in a while. And she also got me a sweatshirt. It's on the thumbnail of one of his videos on a front page of his channel, where he does this thing every time he gets started. The very first thing he'll say what he's going to cook, and it'll cut to another thing of him right in the front of the sink, and he's like, "Wash my damn hands," and he washes his hands. Super funny, but it's also important. You got to have clean hands before you cook. So, but she got me this sweatshirt that says "Wash my damn hands." So, always funny when he gets new videos out. He's got quite the personality. I think he's doing all right. Like you pointed out when we were looking at this before, he's connected up with viralnationtalent.com. You're saying they're kind of a big kind of agency that signs with kind of YouTube talent and stuff.
Yeah, just the content creators I've seen and things of that nature. Yeah, it's a pretty big PR firm from what I'm aware of.
Okay.
Get really good getting, deals, sponsorships, things like that. I've seen a lot of creators with that team, it seems like.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, good for him. Again, I don't know him from anybody else in the world, but he seems like an awesome guy. So super proud of him. All right, next is wanted to highlight John's Crazy Socks. So if you guys are listening and watching, and if you guys go over to their website, johnscrazysocks.com, this is a entrepreneur. He's doing a whole line of socks for men, women, kids, themed socks, all kinds of stuff. And you were telling me too, Matt, that he's got like his socks are the official socks of what now?
It was the PBA, the
Professional Bowlers Association.
Yeah. However, that's
PBA.
the Professional Bowlers League, official. And they have all these cool socks. They have like glow in the dark socks and like all these cool fancy sock kind of things.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I might have to get me some PBA socks then. Very cool. Very cool. John's Crazy Socks. He's got a page on here too on his website. Maybe it's that front page. Yeah, he's got a whole blog on here about the 21 entrepreneurs with Down syndrome you should follow. So that's cool. Successful business guy John and his Crazy Socks promoting other folks with Down syndrome that have got businesses. Very cool. Get out there, support people. These guys are awesome. Cool. All right, moving on. Happy World Down Syndrome Day, everybody. Okay, let's talk a little bit of business. Had a pretty good week here at Panacea. Hopefully all you guys did too. Hopefully you guys are working hard, getting set up with good inbound lead gen, getting good work going outbound. You got to do both. Got to do a little bit of both, and we've got that going on too. So again, we're working with Arsenal Business Growth for our managed services side of our company. I think Bob booked like 3 meetings for us that happened this week. I went on all 3. One of the 3 was really awesome. The other 2 were kind of introductory where they've got kind of good situations. They're not really looking for a change. But my perspective is if I'm on the road and I'm meeting new businesses, then that's a good thing. Whether we come into a situation with someone who's had it made. Like I drove to a little town here in Wisconsin called Ripon, met at a company called AFK Foundry, and I met with a guy named Corey, the owner. Super nice guy, welcomed me in, made me feel right at home, didn't make me feel like I was wasting his time or anything like that. Had a great conversation. He was very open and shared about, how they do IT at their foundry and how they're set up, and that they've had a great relationship with their IT service provider for 10 years. Hey, bad luck for me. I sat down with somebody who's got an awesome relationship. I'm not mad about that. I tell you what, it's a weird feeling because sure, I want to meet people that need our business. That's right. That's obvious. But at the same time, I love it when I hear about a company that's doing a good job because it can get pretty old always hearing about businesses ragging on managed service providers when they're doing a bad job. And I know they're not all doing a bad job. A majority of them do a good job. But when you focus only on trying to get in front of those businesses where they're doing a bad job, because that's going to be an opportunity for you, you can start to kind of drink the Kool-Aid that says everybody but you is terrible at what they do, and that's not the case. It's really not the case. So that was a cool meeting, but again, I had to drive an hour and a half to get there. No, hour from here. Yeah, an hour and a half from home because I was at home because I got a haircut yesterday. But that was a great meeting. Meeting earlier in the week, another good one was out in Beaver Dam. This is a situation where that company, they really need our help because they're in a bad spot. And hopefully that turns into something. It's going to take a little bit because they've got to sort out what they're doing with their current situation, whether they're under contract or whatever. But once they sort that out, we want to be there to pick up the pieces for them. And then there was another one with another manufacturer up in Manitowoc. That one was kind of an awkward one when they, super nice guy, got there, but it was one of those ones where he came out to me in the lobby and we didn't even go sit down at a desk or anything. Those are always really weird, and I always wonder why that is. Maybe he's just had bad experiences with vendors coming in and talking to him and like being pushy and not leaving. Or maybe they're just super strict with letting people behind closed doors. I don't know. But that was kind of a weird one, but it was okay. They've got a situation where they're working with 2 different MSPs. They've got a lot of infrastructure. I can't really comment on it because I don't know how well it works or, what all it's doing, but it was okay. But great week as far as that. A couple leads came in on the healthcare side of things. We're looking at, possibly working with an eye doctor up in the Northwoods or ophthalmology practice up in the Northwoods for scribe services. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think Bob made 85 calls for us this week. He's up to 285 calls this month, and he's rocking and rolling. He's cooking. Let's keep him going. Last but not least, we haven't been with Doge all week. We haven't checked in on Doge all week. Let's see how efficient the government is getting. We'll say it's cool that Elon got the astronauts down the other day. That was pretty sweet. Did you guys see that? We talked about it a little bit, right, Manish, the other day? And we talked about that. Interesting, you're not hearing a lot of news covering that. Because there's not much you can say bad about it, right? Anyway. All right. What do we got here on the doge.gov? Well, since we haven't checked in all week, let's move it on back. What was the first day of this week? The 18th?
I want to say it was
17th?
Either the 18th or the 17th. It was the 17th was Monday.
Because that was St. Paddy's Day. Right.
Yep.
Okay. St. Paddy's Day on the 17th. Let's go back. Wow, there's been a lot of updates. Can't hit them all. Excellent job. These 21 contract had a total ceiling of $4.3 billion with total resulting savings of $600 million. Illegal boarding crossings have plummeted. Let's see. Each facility. It says leading to the closure of several temporary processing facilities along the southwest border. Each facility shut down saves $5 to $30 million per month. Think about that for a second. So there's multiple facilities for processing, illegal immigrants crossing the border. Each one of them costing anywhere from $5 to $30 million a month. Wow. More resource sources for border security, less taxpayer money spent. Amen to that. How about just less taxpayer money needed so you don't have to take it from us in the first place? That's what I'm talking about. Today, let's see, this was on the 17th. Agencies terminated 44 contracts today with a ceiling value of $5.2 billion and savings of $640 million, including $465,000 DoD contract for non-personal services to serve as the Maxwell Air Force Base installations horticulturalist, landscape designer, and greenhouse plant nursery manager to improve and maintain beautification of the installations. $2.85 million HHS contract for digital communications and social media support services. Wow. What it sounds like with a lot of these things is and I was hearing some news about this morning, is a lot of this spending that they're just canceling is just contracts with contractors or businesses, like let's say us, that want a contract to do something for the government, and the government just not paying attention. Some of them were like, these contracts has ended 3 years ago, but someone forgot and never ended them and kept sending checks to the company. And the company's not doing anything. They're just taking the checks, not doing any work. So I wonder if they're going to have to pay that stuff back. I don't know. What's this? What the heck is this? On the 17th, Mr. Moose denied lawful access to Kenneth Jackson, the acting USIP president, as approved by the USIP board. I don't know what the USIP is. DC Police Department arrived on site and escorted Mr. Jackson into the building. The only unlawful individual was Mr. Moose, who refused to comply and even tried to fire USIP. What is this about? Tried to fire USIP's private security team when said security team went to give access to Mr. Jackson. Who's Mr. Moose? Somebody search that. Mr. Moose.
Oh, that's where my mind first went. I was like, what a name that is.
Is that like Bullwinkle? Is that like, who's Mr. Moose?
I actually, random off topic. I saw my first moose ever last weekend. We were
In person?
in person. I'll send you a video. It was crazy. I walk outside I make some pizza. I walk outside to go eat the pizza on the balcony out in Breckenridge, Colorado, which is one of the highest resorts you can go to in North America. So you're out there, and I was talking to my neighbor, and I asked him a question, and he shushed me, and I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing shushing me? I'm like, why are you shushing
What a jerk.
me? Yeah, I was like, what a jerk. And then he points, and right there, maybe a couple yards away from me, a big female moose. So we didn't get to see the cool
That's okay.
horns and everything.
They're
But
huge.
man, what an animal! Really, yeah, really.
You don't
crazy.
realize how big they are.
You really don't. It's wild.
They're like the size of a really skinny elephant. You know what I mean? Like, first time I ever saw one, I was driving in Canada through the Rockies with some friends when we were in college. And those roads are just, one way each way, so 2-lane roads, and you're going in and out and doing switchbacks and stuff. And you're just going slow. And right next to the road, as kind of the mountain kind of cliffs up and stuff, there's a moose just standing there off to the side, chilling, doesn't care about the traffic, doesn't plan on going into the road, but just sitting there watching everybody. And we were in a Nissan Altima, so not a big car, but big enough to hold 4 people and our stuff. And this moose, as we slowly went by, it looked like the size of, probably a little bit hyperbolic, but it was like the size of a 2-story building to me. I was like, what? I thought they were just like deer size. You know what I mean? Wow. Yeah. So did you guys find Mr. Moose, Manoj? Did you look him up? I'll look him up. I don't care.
Mr. Moose.
Who?
Oh, it looks like a cartoon character from a show. Mr. Moose was a puppet character on the children's television show Captain Kangaroo.
Yep, that's iPhone.
That's fine, but that can't be the guy that they're talking about here.
Yeah. Here, let me see. Mr. Moose Government. Let me see.
But maybe if this has something to do with United States Institute of Peace.
Yep, CEO of USIP, George Moose.
So
what
what's
a name,
the deal? Doge has broken into the U.S. Institute for Peace after repeatedly being denied entry. Its former leader is calling it an illegal takeover. It's so funny if you read these headlines from different sources, how they spin it, right? It's not like Doge is trying to find out if this organization is efficient or not, and someone's not letting them in. That's kind of a tick saying probably not doing good things. George E. Moose. That sounds like a really good cartoon character to me. Hey, George. Hey, Mr. Moose. Former congressman behind U.S. Institute of Peace reacts to Trump admin takeover. George Moose, senior fellow LMI. I mean, it's all going to be the lens for which this instance is portrayed. But I don't think it's a good idea when you are a department of the government that's underneath the executive branch to get in a fight with the executive. That's probably not going to go well for you. Just saying. All right, what else we got here? Social Security's been working on a major cleanup of their records. In the last 2 weeks, 3.2 million number holders, that's Social Security number holders must be, all listed at age 120 plus, have been marked as deceased. Congratulations. Hopefully they all had good funerals. More work still to be done. Wow. We were literally saying, if you're right there, Manoj, on the Doge site, and you click on the picture, it'll pop up and show the full stats, that there were between 120 and 129 years old, there was over almost 3.5 million people. I don't get what it says. Living count as of living count as of the 8th of March, 3.467 million. As living count as of 3/17, so a week and a half later, 2.6. So, wow, 817,000 people over the age of 120 and under 129 apparently went to meet their maker. So the question, and there's even more, 130 to 139 and 140 to 149, 150. Was money actually being paid to these people every week or every couple weeks? However Social Security works. How much money over decades have been going to people who are actually dead or people who aren't dead who are using the social security numbers of dead people and just no one's watching. And there's a reason why, there's multiple reasons why, over the years, everybody's saying like social security system is a Ponzi scheme and where's the money going kind of stuff. It's going somewhere. It's not just in a pile somewhere, underneath the White House, I don't know. I think that's crazy. Contract update. This was on the 19th. Today, agencies canceled 47 contracts. Ceiling value 185 million, 90 million of savings. 3.1 million for healthy relationships, social media presence. 3.5 million for consultants to provide professional IT, cloud software, hardware expertise, and stuff like that. I mean, this sounds like something our company should be doing, but somebody had a contract and was unnecessary. This week at Interiors is dissolving the federal consulting group, where one government department charges another to broker consulting contracts. Oh my gosh. As an example, FCG brokered a $75 million contract to design website customer satisfaction surveys, and then attempted to award $830 million to conduct similar surveys. The latter contract was discovered by at Interior and Doge and canceled before signature. Again, it's just like, let's get in there, award this, and let's scratch each other's back and award more, right? It's like, man, it's sad, but at the same time, I'm glad they're finding and doing something about it. But why? $75 million contract to design a website customer satisfaction surveys. Manoj, I don't know about you guys, but we're not charging enough.
If we compare on this pricing, so we are peanut.
Man,
our pricing is a peanut.
We could retire if we would have got that contract. Okay, you guys go do the surveys. We're going to the Bahamas. Good Lord. And then $830 million to conduct them. Okay, you conduct surveys, you're going to send them out, blah, blah, blah. And they're probably just sending out, these are the text messages you get, or take this survey, or the emails you get, take this survey again. Doesn't take that much money to do that. All the collecting of the data as it come back, that's all going to be automated in spreadsheets, 75 to design the website customer satisfaction survey. It's literally like, go to ChatGPT. Please write me customer satisfaction survey for the FCG. 10 seconds later, like the little meme, 10 seconds later, survey. Now hand me my check for $75 million. I kid. I jest, but
I have seen in the consulting companies brand, so what they charge on their basis of their PowerPoint presentation. So they work of 100 days on a PowerPoint presentation to present a big companies for their cost reduction and to give them the consultancy services to evaluate their costings, their efficiency, their productivity of the employees. They make a fancy presentation of like 20 or 30 slides. They present the presentation and they sell that presentation on the spot in $1 million. That's the business of consulting companies, and they offer that if you want to implement these services, we have vendors. We can talk to the vendors and we can connect with the vendors. So this is something I think it's market. It's a very weird market.
Yeah, it's very weird, and it's funny. Like I just said. The consulting company is doing that and selling that because no one knew how to do that before. It took all this fancy, content creation and writing and a little bit of research and plugging things in and someone to present it well. Man, but you can get AI to generate all that content for you almost immediately.
Exactly.
Oh, well, they had it nice for a while, I suppose. Let's go to the top here. I don't know. They probably talk about it, but did you guys, there was a bunch of stuff and I didn't get to watch any of them, like the actual announcements of it, but it sounds like they're finally announcing the dissolution of the Department of Education in the federal government. What do you guys think about that? What do you think, Matt? What do you think about the Department of Education?
So I'm not super educated on the subject, but to my opinion on the Department of Education is that they fail the kids on teaching them things they really need to know.
Yeah.
You know, financial stability, how to do your taxes, economics. So that's kind of where I stand on that. I'm not too educated on them shutting that down and what that pertains, so I can't really speak on that. But from my opinion, from where the education system stands, I really do think they fail on, you know, sending kids out in the world with real life skills and things of that nature. I do think they fail on that. I mean, I still sometimes when I'm doing my taxes, yeah, they're a lot different from what other people do being a business owner. But sometimes I'm like, what does this mean? You know, I remember one class, they finally taught us how to write checks in an economic class. That's when they first started doing it. But that's my point there is I think we really need to start, you know, because I mean, you look at other countries and, you know, Germany, for example, and they place you really early and they really find the lane you should go into. So to that point, that's kind of where my stance is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know a lot of the history, at least the funding and stuff. I just pulled up the history of it. So it says like the original Department of Education was called the Office of Education in 1867. Changed around over the years, and in the 70s, it became more important for federal funding. 79, Department of Education Organization Act was passed, creating the Department of Education as a cabinet-level agency, so on the executive side. 1980, Department of Health, Education, and Welfare was split into the Department of Health and Human Services. Department of Education began operations May 4th, 1980. So it's been as it is since 1980. What I would like to see, let's play around with this. Let's go U.S. education results, or like results 1980 was when I was born through 2024. Let's do that. See what comes up. Long-term trends. How far behind? Man, I wish it would just show me a graph. Come on. I wonder if I can ask GPT to do that for me. I got to do this because I'd love to see. Ever since we've had this Department of Education, what of the testing, maybe the testing or like standards, but test result testing. You know, let's see. Can you give me the United, what's kind of a measure we could go with? Like, we can't do them all. The United States, let's say, like, how about high school education ranking versus the world from 1980 through 2024. Let's go. It's thinking. It's writing. It's writing. I'm not going to... Just give me a chart. Give me a chart. Give me a chart. So it wrote some stuff. Wrote too much stuff. Dang it. Can you put stats in a table? Ranking on the y-axis. Listen to me. Year on the x-axis. See, I went to school. I know what the x and the y-axis are. See if it can do it.
Sometimes it still throws me for a loop, though.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. It's analyzing. Oh, I think I threw GPT for a loop here. Let's see what it can do. Oh, we got something. Oh, look at this. So it's not doing like that full range, but it's giving me some ranges because I think it's pulling a chart from some sites or something. The charts are actually interactive. That's cool. So in the year 2000, U.S. PISA math ranking. I don't know what that is, PISA math. We were 19th. 2003, 24th. 2006, 35th. 2009, 31st. 2012, 36th. 2015, 38th. If I go to this other one, 2000 through 2022, my math rankings, like, yeah, it's like a line chart. We're way up at the top of the chart, it's like we're ranked 20, and as you get lower down, it's a high, you're lower ranked. It's like, yeah, it's just worse. It's a downward trend. And I'm sure we were probably a lot higher in 1980. Which kind of tells you there's nothing worse than making a government agency to try to make something better. So, fine. If it's not doing its job, get rid of it and try something else. You know what I mean? Like, let's not just keep walking dead on into a brick wall that's not letting us go where we want to do, which is better educationally. I mean, think about all the things in the world of schools that have gotten worse as time has gone on. The more we fudge with, kids' emotions and medications and all the weird, crazy things over since I've been alive, it's just gotten worse. Violence in school, worse. Outcomes, worse. Depression, worse. Understanding your own personal identity, worse. It's just, everything's gotten worse as we've tried and more to tinker with things, throw money at the government because the government knows what it's doing. I would argue that it doesn't. It really doesn't. So let's not let them do it anymore. Anyway, that was fun. Anything else, guys, you want to cover before we call it a day this Friday, March 21st, 2025?
I think that's about it for me.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you all very much for tuning in today for episode 16 of the Daily BLP. Manish, Manoj, Matt, thanks for being with me and giving me your perspective. It's been a great week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Have fun, get some rest, and let's get back after it on Monday. Take care, everybody.